Sunday, I noticed that Glenn Beck was in USA Today on the cover of USA Weekend. We'll put it on screen right now for PrisonPlanet.tv viewers. It's up on PrisonPlanet.com. Beck's failure to retract global warming advocacy provokes online firestorm. He's going on air saying he believes it. You Beck supporters thought I was lying that he was in USA Today? Huh. But we don't lie here. Sometimes we get stuff wrong. Okay. Let's go back to John Young of Cryptome.org. I was talking about spy cams there and the fact that they're just, yes, we're watching your kids at home through the cameras. What's the big deal? And now if we think your husband's history means he might hit you, not that he's ever even hit you, you're going to wear ankle bracelets. It's all this predictive pre-crime. And they're putting brain scanners in airports saying it can tell if you're angry. A bunch of quackery to sell tyranny, worse than the lie detector that's been discredited. Comments on that, sir?
Well, I think that one of the things that's hard to grasp is how much of high technology is being used against the public interest, even as it's spun out being on for our protection and for our pleasure. How much of it is being used to track us? For example, most digital cameras can be intercepted, even though they're being run by your computer. They emit electromagnetic magnetic waves that can be intercepted by someone in the next room or across the street. And so one of the devilish things about these wonderful inventions of high technology is that they all leak information about you to someone who has the right equipment.
Are you worried, because I've seen a lot of cases of this, the Internet's perfect to frame people. Government doesn't have to bury a pipe bomb on your back 40 like they do in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Now they just claim you visited some illegal porn sites, or they claim you were investigating how to build bombs. I've seen a lot of evidence of them framing people.
That's correct. They can make a compelling case, and we actually read court transcripts of testimony of the prosecution's expert witnesses and watch them fudge the truth about what they're getting by electronic means. But they put on very impressive shows. In fact, some of the best people at putting on these shows are themselves not technologists and who don't understand the technology very well, but they know what jurors like to hear. So these are actually people who blow smoke at juries, because we've seen testimony by the actual technicians who freely admit how many mistakes they make. But the spokesperson from the FBI never admits to making mistakes.
And they win over 90% of their cases. Well, the good news here is Microsoft backed up. This gave them a big black eye. Why did they think that they could shut you down and get away with it?
That's a good question. I'm going to have to work on that one, Alex, because we did not expect it to happen, and we're going to try to find out how to take advantage of that unexpected. They may have done it just for PR purposes, in order to not have to go to court and explain how more extensive it is than just our one little case. We happen to know they send out thousands of these notices per week, like we got, and get away with it, and they never have to defend it in court. They just bluff people into obeying. So I think they thought this bluff would work, and we decided to test that and let them to take us to court. We was hoping to go to court.
Yeah, we've had some of these, and I don't usually make a big deal out of it. I just file in federal court against it. We had our YouTube channel taken down, and I just went and did the federal filing. And then it went back up because it is a bluff. It is a fraud. I mean, we're allowed to play a 1-minute clip of Michael Reagan saying, murder 9/11 truthers, I will give you weapons, I will give you bullets, I will give you money, kill Mark Dice. We're allowed to play a clip of him and say, look at this criminal saying murder us. And that's fair use, and that's the end of it.
Yep. And so, again, that's the power of having a platform to speak as a business, an impressive sounding business, that you can just bluff people. And they threaten people with lawsuits, but since it's so expensive, they seldom follow through.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you, sir, we just commend the work you're doing in the 3-4 minutes we've got left with you. Any other key points that you want to get across to the audience? And, well, I have one more question before we plug Cryptome.org and have people support it. So you agree with me. I mean, I mean, obviously you're doing the research, so you already know the facts. I mean, they're openly floating the idea of shutting down freedom on the web and having a few thousand websites you can visit under Internet 2. The Cybersecurity Act that passed the House says that ISPs down to 100 service customers, tiny ISPs, will take all the orders from the feds and install their hardware and software that they're going to recruit the youth and the college students into this new grand army. It's like a new drug war they're launching or something to, quote, defend the Internet. CNN runs fear pieces about how the Internet's going to be attacked. Clearly the preparatory phase for them launching a false flag. What's your take on that?
Well, it's coming, and at the risk of being my favorite term, a conspiracy nut, I think that you cannot be paranoid enough about what the government is doing, and they always make fun of it to try to demean it, but I say that we're not nearly suspicious enough. I don't think that the underwear bomber was as innocent as it sounds, and I think that more of that will come out. I think there are false flag operations going on, and if you watch how these agencies and governments work around the world over the last 1,000 years, these are not unusual agent provocateur operations. They actually provoke incidents in order to justify increase of their own authority.
You're a fellow Texan, I just learned. We're proud of other great Texans out there.
Well, I miss it a lot. I wish I was still down there, but I'm not. Grew up in Odessa.
How much of your time do you spend on this versus architecture?
It's about 50-50, depending on what's going on. A little slow in the field right now, and so it varies, but I've been doing this kind of work ever since I got out of college.
What got you into this?
Well, I started doing this, what we call public service work, right after college as a way to supplement professional work, which we saw was going to be very narrow and very tailored toward our customers. And so a group of us decided to continue doing public service work on our own, unpaid, and so we're still doing it. And that's now some 40 years later. So we've been doing it a long time, long before Cryptome came along.
How do we support Cryptome.org?
Well, one is read it, use it as a resource. That's what it's there for. And we happen to offer some DVDs of the collection, but it's strictly, if you want it for your own, it's a wide open site. Everything that's on the DVD is on the site, and so it's no access charges. And so we get some money through the DVDs, but basically it's paid for by our architectural firm.
But it's good to have a hard copy, so everybody should buy these DVDs. I know a lot of people are mirroring and copying and posting doppelgangers of your site everywhere. And I think this has been a crushing defeat for Microsoft, though. I think it's safe to say, do you agree this is blown up in their face?
Yeah. I don't think they expected this. In fact, they said that. They did not expect it to happen.
That is, they didn't expect the big backlash.
That's right.
All right. Well, John Young, we really appreciate you spending time with us from Cryptome.org, and we'll talk to you again, and thank you for defending freedom.
Thank you, Alex. It's always a pleasure.
All right. Take care. There he goes. Oh, man. All in a day's work here as we fight tyranny on every front. All right. I want to go over some important news here. Look, I don't want to attack Glenn Beck. I don't want to be in a fight with Clear Channel. But I have my First Amendment, and Glenn Beck is constantly attacking us and is duplicitous. Okay? And I'm sick of double talkers. Now, Al Gore, Barack Obama are discredited punks. And we're still attacking them and exposing them as New World Order fronts. Yesterday with the whole birther thing. The whole first hour attacking Obama and his healthcare takeover and his cybersecurity and his environment takeover. So people say, why don't you spend more time on Barack Obama? We do. My last two films, Fall of the Republic and Obama Deception, exposing him and who runs him. But Glenn Beck is placed at a key juncture to when Ron Paul's about to win, he comes out and attack him. When other candidates that are pro-liberty, he comes out. He runs these operations, and I've seen him say militias are bad. I've seen him say we need to use the army against Ron Paul supporters. I've seen him say the banker bailout is good, and then say he didn't say that till he got called on it. It's the lying. They intend to keep the income tax and then give you a value-added and sales tax on top of it. But he's pushing that, value-added and sales tax. So is The guy he tours the country with, O'Reilly. A guy who believes in global warming. Sarah Palin says she believes in it. And I get emails going, no, she doesn't. No, he doesn't. He was in USA Today. Put it up on screen. USA Weekend. Their big weekend magazine. Who's that on the cover there? Who is that man? And it's a positive article. In fact, what's the actual headline that doesn't have it? It was something like, you know, don't judge a book by its cover. He's a great guy. He's so wonderful. He's wonderbar. We all live in America. America is wonderbar. I mean, this guy is a joke. And he goes on to say, I believe in global warming. I've got a greenhouse. I'll do anything for the environment.